The tragic story of Michael Polding, a life exploited, a lesson learned. Michael Polding was a 63-year-old man living a serene and unassuming existence in Brighton, England. Known for his humility and kindness, Michael exuded warmth through small gestures, smiling at strangers, lending a hand when needed, and embracing the simple joys in life. Whether it was frequenting the local coffee shop or enjoying the sunset along the seafront, Michael embodied a life of genuine human connection. However, despite his gentle demeanor and good intentions, Michael harbored a profound loneliness. With no family nearby and only a handful of close friends, he often found himself alone. Over the years, his once sociable nature gave way to quiet withdrawal. This solitude would ultimately make him vulnerable in ways no one could predict. The tragedy began with Ricardo Pisano, a man with many faces. To most, he was charismatic, polished, and magnetic, capable of winning anyone over. Underneath, however, was the persona of a master criminal. Using multiple aliases, including Brandon Victor Pillay, Pisano had built a life of dishonesty, manipulating and exploiting those he encountered. His criminal record spanned scams, extortion, and violence. One of his boldest acts came in 2001 when he escaped from Rangipo prison in New Zealand while serving time for extortion. From there, he vanished, crafting false identities and winning over communities with charm. Beneath the facade, every relationship he formed was simply a calculated step in his schemes. Michael met Pisano by chance, unaware of the sinister intentions lurking behind his polished demeanor. Sensing Michael's longing for connection and validation, Pisano seized the opportunity to prey on his vulnerabilities. Pisano presented himself as a wealthy and influential man capable of transforming Michael's quiet life for the better. He showered Michael with attention and affection, crafting an illusion of companionship and mutual respect. Desperate for the love and trust Michael had missed for years, he let down his guard. Pisano didn't just offer companionship. He soon moved to exploit Michael financially, emotionally, and psychologically. Pisano wove a web of lies, painting a false picture of wealth and success while persuading Michael to invest in fraudulent ventures. As trust deepened, Pisano began draining Michael's bank accounts, controlling his finances, and taking over his life. To further isolate Michael, Pisano created emotional rifts, convincing him that his family was unsupportive and had ulterior motives. Moving into Michael's home, Pisano ensured his presence was constant, cutting Michael off from his friends and loved ones. Family members noticed Michael becoming distant, his joyful spirit replaced by anxiety and sadness. Yet, every time they reached out, Michael, blinded by Pisano's manipulation, brushed off their concerns. The bond Pisano falsely cultivated was so strong that Michael refused to question his motives, even as his life unraveled. Over time, Michael's family became increasingly distressed. He remained unreachable, visits dwindled, and phone calls were ignored. He appeared to be pulling away from everyone who cared for him. When family members urged him to re-evaluate his relationship with Pisano, Michael became defensive, dismissing their appeals. For months, silence filled the gaps where Michael's once vibrant presence had flourished. In desperation, his family reported him missing after countless attempts to locate him failed. In July, Brighton police entered Michael's apartment, hoping to find answers. What they found instead was chilling. The apartment was untouched, eerily still, as if frozen in time. In the bedroom, they discovered Michael's decomposed body, a horrifying and heartbreaking end to their search. The autopsy revealed a tragic and violent death. Michael had not succumbed to illness or a natural demise. Instead, his body bore marks of brutality, broken ribs, a shattered collarbone, and evidence of blunt force trauma. The attack that ended his life was both ruthless and deliberate. With Michael's last known companion being Pisano, all evidence pointed to him as the prime suspect. By the time authorities pieced together the evidence, Pisano had vanished, leaving no immediate leads behind. It quickly became clear that he had meticulously planned his escape, once again using his skills to avoid capture. The investigation turned into an international manhunt, with authorities following trails across borders. Pisano outran justice for years, leveraging fake identities and evasive tactics to stay ahead of law enforcement. Despite their best efforts, police faced roadblocks at every turn, reinforcing Pisano's reputation as an unmatched master of disguise and deception. In December, after years of stalled investigations, a breakthrough emerged. Sussex police offered a £10,000 reward for information that could lead to Pisano's capture. One of his former associates, someone he had previously deceived, provided a critical tip, leading authorities to Southampton. On a frigid winter night, Pisano was finally apprehended. The man who had lived as a ghost, dodging the law for over a decade, could no longer run. Unlike the confident, manipulative man who once deceived so many, he now appeared pale, defeated, and stripped of his former bravado. Pisano's trial painted a devastating picture of his manipulative cruelty. The courtroom heard how he had infiltrated Michael's life not just for financial gain but to exert complete dominance, physically, emotionally, and psychologically. The true cost of Pisano's deception was not measured in money, but in the extinguished light of a kind-hearted soul. The evidence was damning. Pisano had robbed Michael of everything: his savings, his sense of security, and ultimately, his life. As the trial concluded, Pisano was convicted of Michael's murder and sentenced to life in prison. The verdict brought a mixture of relief and sorrow for those left grieving Michael's tragic fate. Despite the closure the trial brought, Michael's family remained haunted by lingering questions. Could their intervention have saved him? Could greater awareness of Pisano's manipulation have exposed his intentions sooner? Michael's story serves as a chilling reminder of the dangers posed by seemingly charming predators. It echoes the importance of vigilance in relationships, especially for those vulnerable to exploitation. Loneliness, a deeply human condition, can create dangerous blind spots, leaving individuals susceptible to manipulation by those with malicious intent. Michael's death is a stark reminder of how misplaced trust can destroy even the kindest souls. His tragic story has become a symbol, a warning against blind faith and a call to recognize red flags in relationships. Though Michael is no longer here, his story endures, challenging us to remain vigilant and to cherish the genuine connections in our lives while protecting them from harm. The story of Michael Polding reminds us of the fragility of trust and the resilience of those who carry the weight of loss. May it encourage us all to look more closely at the motives of those who enter our lives, never forgetting that appearances can be deceiving.